Here from Group 12, and today we'll be conducting experiment 17, which is heat conduction. First, let me explain the learning outcome as well as the objective of this experiment. This experiment is to investigate the use of Fourier's law for the linear conduction of this experiment along a homogeneous bar in order to calculate the thermal conductivity. This experiment also studies the effects of different diameters, material, as well as the shape of the bar to calculate the difference in the thermal conductivity. Now, without further ado, let us get into the experiment. First of all, I'll explain about the safety procedures of this experiment. First, before we start the experiment, we have to make sure that the power supply is turned off. Okay. After it's turned off, we can proceed with the experiment. And do note that during the experiment, if the temperature exceeds 100 degrees Celsius, the power supply must be turned off immediately to avoid any damage to the insulation. With that, let us proceed to the experiment. First, this is the brass of a conducting material, and we apply the grease to the surface of the material in order to improve the thermal conductivity during the experiment. And after we apply the grease, we'll then connect this material, this brass, into the rod, to the linear module. Okay, after we have clamped the cylindrical brass into the linear module, we then connect the temperature sensors at each respective places from T1 up to T9, and then we connect it into the main main power supply in order for the this power supply to read the temperature. And then we'll turn on the water supply, and the water supply will flow all over to the linear model in order to maintain a constant temperature flow gradient across this experiment. And after that, after the experiment is set up, we will then switch on the power supply. After the power supply is switched on, there will be the illuminated reading that will show the reading of the temperature at each respective places from T1 up to T9, which we can control using this knob and the power supply for you to conduct the experiment. To start out with the experiment, first we'll start the experiment with 5 watts, where you turn the knob to adjust the power supply into 5 watts. And then after that, we will take the reading of temperature every 2 minutes, as in T3 and T7, in order to get the temperature difference after it has after the heat conduction experiment. We will record the temperature at every 2 minutes until the temperature at T3 and T7 is constant. Then this experiment is repeated with the increment of 5 watts until it reaches 20 watts. And then after that, the procedure is also repeated with using different materials, which is stainless steel, or with using the different diameter as well.